You immediately recognize Bill Gates and Warren Buffett as two of the richest people in the world when you hear their names. However, are you familiar with Amancio Ortega? You most likely don't know the man, but you're probably familiar with Zara, the clothes retailer he started, the Spanish billionaire's incredible rags to riches tale, which has some lessons for us to learn, rather than the fact that he momentarily surpassed Bill Gates as the richest man in the world, is what makes him so fascinating. Good Lucks is a channel dedicated to inspiring you to extend your perspective, achieve general life breakthroughs, and discover what personal achievements may bring us. This video is to inform you of some of the life lessons Amancio Ortega, a well-known recluse who has given very minimal press interviews during his career, may have to teach you. He may not have been the life of the party, but he has nonetheless managed to amass a net worth of more than $74 billion. If you'd like to receive our daily dose of financial and life knowledge, subscribe to the channel. Is there anything you can take away from Amancio Ortega about life? Here are some life lessons from Amancio that you could find useful. Without further ado, let's begin. Think of your obstacles as possibilities. Amancio Ortega, who was born in 1936, is the son of a railroad worker and a housewife who used to beg from a general store in a town in Spain to provide for her 4 children. When those shopkeepers insulted his mother during this difficult moment in his life, he decided to drop out of school at the age of 13 and began working in a clothing store in La Coruna to get money. Despite being the youngest of his parents, he never thought about his upbringing, and eventually all of his labor led to him becoming an innovative fashion tycoon. To study and experiment with clothing, he used to work part-time in that store. He was also creative and diligent. He is accustomed to creating new items by hand every day, which has improved his abilities in the sector. He had a great deal of experience and was able to start a new fashion business despite his poverty, which inspired me to follow in his footsteps. Take a chance and don't ever stop working. Amancio Ortega never ceased working on his skills and expanding his knowledge. He disregarded his age and eventually opened his store in 1963 at the age of 37 by beginning to make women's handmade bathrobes with the assistance of his future wife, Rosalia Mera. Today, he has more than 75,000 Zara stores worldwide. This man keeps working today without putting his talent in his head or flowing in the river of his money because he believes in continual learning without the conceit of yesterday's accomplishments. Whether you are successful or unsuccessful, he thinks you should never stop learning. Be modest about your accomplishments and just keep going. He never concentrates on results but merely takes pleasure in his work. Develop a special work ethic. Even though he is the brains behind a well-known company, Amancio Ortega enjoys having lunch and having in-person interactions with his staff every day. He has also been going to Zara stores' workplaces cafeteria every day for years. Although he stopped going to school because of his poverty, he developed exceptional management abilities. He distributed his work into small groups, worked on paperwork and projects, and accepted everyone's suggestions. Even his co-workers are well heard by him before he finally decides on the design. In contrast to all major companies, Zara has a variety of collections, and the time it takes for a new design to arrive in stores is short. Stores update their collections every 2 weeks, taking 15 days from designing to hanging in the showrooms, and this alone has a lot of pull and appeal for the customers. As the years pass, never stop. Under a different name, the first Zara store opened in Spain in 1975, but because of its distinctiveness, it was eventually renamed Zara. He was about 40 years old when Zara was founded, and he continued to grow his commercial empire by entering other nations like the US, Portugal, and France. Massimo Dutti and Stradivarius are now part of his Inditex fashion empire, which also includes new labels Pull & Bear and Bershka. He also made real estate investments in Madrid, Miami, and London, which helped his business. And in 2015, he surpassed Bill Gates in terms of wealth thanks to his retail venture. At the age of 84, he still makes daily trips from his flat to the Inditex headquarters to mingle with new designers and staff, although he was never before fixated on his work. Have intrinsic curiosity. As a working kid, Ortega didn't take any of his work experiences for granted and realized that to make good money, one had to satisfy customers. At the juvenile age of 16, he was already considering how to ascertain the needs of clients, and more crucially, how to satisfy the ensuing demand. After relocating to Galicia, Spain in the 1950s, he saw the potential of his business strategy and established a sewing cooperative, bringing together single women with sewing abilities to produce items like lingerie, baby wear, and nightgowns. He was said to be a fantastic leader who cared about his team and gave them decent working circumstances, which was unusual at the time. After 10 years, he established his first business with the help of his kin and future wife, the late Rosalia Mera. He opened the first store in La Coruña, Spain, in 1975. He has continuously innovated over the years and maintained a high level of curiosity. Getting with the times and keeping current rather than being past in the past, he allowed himself to be interested enough to keep learning and developing. Be committed to maintaining customer satisfaction. He became aware that buyers wanted affordable replicas of what they saw on the catwalk quickly while running the first Zara store. Giving people what they want is his motto. Therefore, he directed Zara in that direction. Zara is completing the entire process in only 3 weeks, effectively keeping up with the rival retail behemoths like Gap and H&M, who take months to bring new products from design table to the stores. The store managers regularly watch the designs that are placed up for sale, since they must not only ensure accurate curation, but also keep track of what the customers are wearing and looking for, so that the upcoming batches can satisfy their needs. Be modest, not just in clothes. He attends the same coffee shop every day in La Coruña, where he spent the majority of his life, despite being wealthy and able to enjoy a wide variety of material pleasures. Despite having access to every Zara product and maybe having any design he wants to be created for him, he strangely shows little interest in fashion and frequently wears the same outfit: a blue blazer, a white shirt, and grey pants. The most fascinating aspect? None of these goods are from his other brands or Zara. Ortega was always ambitious for his firm, but he never gave much thought to his financial security, so the scope of his success has somewhat taken him by surprise. His general shyness and reluctance to be in the spotlight are also motivated by his modesty and the idea that he only contributed a small amount to Zara's success. The key is speed. With an aggressive timetable designed to have new products on the rack faster than anybody else in the market, Ortega revolutionized the retail industry when he started Zara in 1975. Ortega's method, dubbed quick fashion, involved replenishing the stock in Zara stores twice a week and receiving orders within 48 hours. Speed has come to represent Ortega's company and to be a source of contention for his rivals. While it may take months for a dress shown at Fashion Week to be available in a department store, a comparable style can be found in Zara just a few weeks later. Keep your roots close to you. Ortega's life is a true story of rags to riches. Ortega dropped out of school at a young age to start working. His parents were a housemaid and a railroad worker. A shopkeeper humiliated him by turning down his mother's request for credit to purchase groceries for the family. Ortega hasn't forgotten his modest beginnings. His office has never existed. He converses with the buyers, designers, and fabric specialists of the factory while seated at a desk in the Indidex headquarters at La Coruña, his hometown. He enjoys working with all of his staff. Ortega still attends most work days at the age of 80. He is always interested in learning new things and working. Never cease to innovate. One should avoid becoming self-satisfied at all costs. Success is not always assured. In no way has Amancio Ortega ever let complacency win. He never ceased working, creating, or being innovative. He continued to live by the concept that one cannot be fully satisfied with the influence they have made and instilled it in others around them. When Ortega speaks, he occasionally mimics the brash management speak that more generally suits the billionaire mold. Amancio Ortega continues to develop new designs and is actively involved in his business, never halting innovation or the application of fresh concepts. For those of you who are still watching, we'd like to give you an extra point for your perseverance. We appreciate your interest in this video. Organize the supply chain. Due to the low cost of labor in China, other fashion companies make their clothes there, but Inditex gets the majority of its supplies from countries like Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. Materials processed and handled in Ortega's mills are used to cut the designs, which are subsequently sewn by a network of nearby shops. Because of the reduced supply chain, the business can respond to emerging trends more quickly. Stores may then stock the items that customers are purchasing and avoid having excess inventory. Amancio Ortega competed with the top without any favorable circumstances in a field that relies on invention but limits originality. To appeal to the casual consumer, he struck an excellent balance between quality and affordability, shortened the product's shelf life by hastening the design process, chose desirable locations for his stores, and increased their opening hours. He brought it all about. Instead of imitating the fashion industry's top players in Paris, Milan, or New York, Ortega did things his way. That choice undoubtedly paid off, and it's a fantastic illustration of how success can be attained by listening to and believing in your instincts. This merits imitation on its own. Please leave any further questions or comments in the comments area. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe so that others can see it and be inspired. Enable the notification bell as well to make sure you don't miss any videos regarding personal development. See you next time.